Hello and welcome to another episode of No Answers Yet. I'm one of your hosts, Trey.
And I'm the other host, Sick Kiko Fresh. A little under the weather.
A little bit. He's huffing Vicks Vapor Rub. When I say huffing, I mean he is. We also have Tyler on the knobs, as always. How you doing, Tyler?
Say hi, Tyler.
Give us a confirmation.
Hello.
There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sounded good.
That's good. That's
That was
really
nice.
good. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's very loud. We are very aware that he sounds quiet a lot. We're trying to fix that.
Yeah, we are.
Keep us in the loop of how it sounds. And always, we have Terry on his terry cloth.
Lovely Terry.
T-Rose. So,
Let's get this episode started.
Let's get into
Let's go.
Today, also, it's good to be back. Today, we're going to talk about friendships. Okay, we're going to make it real after school, especially. I love it too. So our biggest but our biggest priority with talking about friendships, of course, is going to be we're going to talk about each other. You know, and our friendship that's kind of come out of nowhere a little bit, especially mine and Tyler's, because didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
for many reasons,
I didn't see that either.
Especially after I met him.
I didn't think it was gonna work out, honestly.
Yeah,
like it was kind of like a rocky road in the
Just
beginning.
As soon as we met, it's just a lot of conflict.
It's a lot of give and take, actually.
Yeah, not much take though.
No, yeah, you're right.
It was a lot of give from my part. It was
was.
a lot of take from him.
Yeah, he took from you.
He's
took
a
from
taker.
You. He is.
He's a taker.
He's a taker.
Not a giver. You can tell that mic's not working real well. So we're gonna talk about that kind of friendship, but we're also gonna talk about generally the idea of having multiple friendships where you kind of you have like a lot, like Facebook friends, like thousands of friends that you don't really ever talk to, or very few friends that are very close. So the kind of difference between those two. So we're gonna kind of go into that a little bit. So to start us off, why don't you talk about how you met Tyler?
Man, so I met Tyler working at Chick-fil-A back in the day. A young Tyler England. He was 16 years old.
That's baffling, actually. How old are you now?
23.
Yeah, he was
7 years. Wow.
He was a young lad.
That's a solid friendship.
He was we put him on front of the counter to take care of guests, and that just did not work out really well. Just very shy young man he was. Just didn't make eye contact. Hardly spoke. Like you'd have to tell him to speak up because no one could hear him.
What's funny now is that his I don't see him at all as shy anymore. He's now stoic. He's very just like I don't have to talk because I know better.
And then we wound up stucking him in the kitchen.
Stucking him in the kitchen.
We put him back.
Thrown back. You're not good enough.
Get out of here. We're not hide you in the back with the trolls.
Yeah. So yeah, but
okay. So how did that turn into a friendship though?
Just over the years working with each other, like watching him grow and like seeing the potential in him, like to care about what he does and how he goes about stuff and like making him a leader and like really it's been awesome to see him grow. So
awesome.
That
was really nice.
Yeah.
I will say though, not to ruin the nice moment, but he did just claim credit for making you a leader. How do you feel about that?
He does it all the time.
I mean,
and he always like, I taught him everything he knows and this and that and blah blah blah. But
this is my favorite rivalries of all time. I love this. So then I met Kiko. We've talked about this numerous times at Chick-fil-A as well. Different one. This is the one where he went to after he abandoned Tyler at the other one.
Full on abandonment.
I don't know if I abandoned you. I had a different.
I'm still hurt by it.
Different opportunity, I would say. Different opportunity.
So he came to ours, and then he's one of the people that hired me. Actually, sat down in the interview. And he was like, I like you. And I was like, I like you too. So that's how that started. And then things went from there. We decided to do the podcast because we both had kind of big dreams. And we wanted to, pursue this idea of, getting our thoughts and ideas out there in a healthy and fun and entertaining way, hopefully. And so we pursued this. And I think with the third meeting, you brought England here.
I did.
So Engel came up, and I liked him immediately. Honestly, like it was really fun. We bonded
hard not
over.
To like him,
right. So we all have this kind of great, like we were talking about in the beginning, like our kind of personalities mesh really well because I don't really shut up. I don't know if that's. If you don't know that about me, I don't shut up.
They probably know that about you.
It might be a little. There's somebody out there going, oh.
Oh yeah, maybe yeah. That one person probably
couldn't put my finger on it. So there's that, and then there's Kiko, who's like kind of like the fun person because I feel like
I appreciate that.
yeah. And then we got Tyler who kind of keeps us grounded
He does.
because Tyler wants you to say something mean.
This isn't mean, Tyler.
Look how easy it comes to him. Oh, he's trying to edit himself. He's like, I can't say that on it. No, can't say that either.
I mean, not terribly mean, but just shows how great of a friend Kiko was there. He didn't try to say, "Oh no, you don't talk too much at all."
Wow.
So there you go.
Way to throw me under the bus.
See?
He told me to do it, so.
See? So we have this kind of awesome trifecta where our personalities mesh really well and they kind of give and take, in all different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's awesome. I love it. And and then that's how we met, and then that's how you guys met.
Mm-hmm.
That's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The big three.
The big three.
Big three. That's 6 because you put 3 and 3, so that's 6.
It's 30. So, guys, what would you say? Do you prioritize like having, connections with everybody, or do you have like these few? I think it's important to kind of do both, though, a little bit to an extent, like to kind of, because I feel like the former is networking. It's not really making friends, it's networking. You're making those connections where it would not be outside the realm of normalcy to reach out to them and say like, hey, how's it going? I'm going to be in the area. I wonder if we could grab lunch or something like that. And it's just networking, really. Whereas if you texted them and said, hey buddy, how you doing? Like that feels a little formal, you know what I mean? Like, so like a little informal. And so there's that, like, I believe that that's networking. And then within that, I think it's smart to have those few that you really could call at 3 a.m. and they would drop everything to come help you. So like, I think it's good to have both. I think over the years, you really do network to start with, because when you're young, you're friends with everybody.
Exactly.
In school, like in elementary school, pretty much everybody's your friend because nobody has any hormones yet, so nobody really fights, except for over toys. And so like there's that kind of like, well, and then as you age, you kind of weed people out, and like you start to get that kind of like primary focus on people, and like these are my friends. And what I love about that, and what I've always been able to, my biggest sign for like a true friendship like that is when you haven't seen each other in however long, you haven't spoken in however long, and the first time you catch up, it's like you never left. It's just that you pick right up. To me, that is the mark of like, that's a special thing. That's a connection that's hard to find. And I have several friends like that in Alabama. I miss you guys. And so like, that was one of the things too, is when I moved up here, it was very hard for me to find that. And I would say that you guys are probably one of the first that I ever found that in.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, although we haven't had very much time apart, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that.
I still tolerate you.
I know. When you went on your trip, I did miss you.
Oh, thank you.
See?
I appreciate that.
And didn't miss me. There it is.
Oh, sorry. You wanted me to say it?
I did. I was fishing.
He was.
I was very blatantly fishing.
He threw the line out.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
It's time for you.
There. Oh, I'm sorry.
There it is.
He put the mic down. He's like, I'm not saying anymore. That's it. So I'll miss you. So, like, I think that's a very important thing, and I feel like finding that is important. And but also, like I said, within that, you do need to network as well and branch out and have those things. That's why people don't like Facebook, because you have like thousands of friends, but you don't really talk to them.
You
But
don't
it's
even
like,
talk
but to
to
me,
them.
that's really just a representation of your network. Those are the people that you can reach out to that
Right.
that you met that one time 2 years ago that you could still say, oh, I know you, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. When I first moved up here, I actually hung out with a girl who was a friend of a friend who I'd met one time because I happened to be in the area and they had a friend that lived here. So that kind of stuff, little stuff like that, that wouldn't happen if I didn't have that network open.
Right, yeah.
So that's important, and I like that.
Yeah, I think like what you said, I kind of agree on. Like, definitely, like, it's important to have those, like, just because you know everybody doesn't mean you're like tight with everyone.
Right.
Like, you always keep like your close friends with you. Like, you always have like those are my boys. Like, I know they got my back no matter what. So like those are like your like important friends. Like, not that everyone else is not important, but like those are kind of like the friends you have.
It's your A team.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good way to kind of deal with friendship. Like a good way to go about it.
And it doesn't dilute anything either.
No.
So like having
No.
all those friends on Facebook, I think this is kind of turning into like a defensive Facebook in a way, which is whatever. Like, I mean, anything could really be doing what Facebook does. Like Instagram is
Mhm.
another one. It's not diluting the friends you do have to have more on
Right.
Facebook. Like, so people will often kind of derogatorily say like, "Oh, you have 1,000 friends on Facebook.
Mhm,
Like,
like,
do you
do you
even
talk-
know any
yeah,
of them?"
do you
And
talk
it's
to
like,
them?
why is that bad?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what if you're connected to literally everybody on the planet? Like, if
Exactly.
you've met each of them one time, I
Yeah.
think that's enough.
Yeah.
Like,
You're connected. Yeah.
yeah, a
like, you
buddy of
know.
mine I met once. Like, he's a retail worker at a store that I go to frequently, and like literally at one point we had a connection where he's moving somewhere, and I have somebody who lives there as well.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, let's connect." Like that right
Mhm.
there. Like, and maybe we never speak again, but there is that kind of like that bridge we have now created,
Mhm.
where for whatever reason, if I ever go there, like we can grab lunch or something like that, and it'd be nice to have somebody from back home, you know,
Exactly.
like
yeah.
stuff like that. Like, it doesn't dilute the friends you do have to have more on social networking
Mhm.
sites. So, that's my thing. Honestly, it's a little bit of both.
I agree. What do you think, England?
I mean, I agree with the whole Facebook thing. I mean, it doesn't really hurt to have a large friend or network, as you're calling it, I guess. It's good word for it. Because you don't talk to them very often.
Right.
Every
Right.
once in a while, you might see something that you want to message them or something.
Mm.
But me personally, I just keep really just like the two friend groups. Like all my old high school friends, we're all still very close. We hang out here and there, but now that we're all working, it's harder, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like those same ones. We go in, we catch up, and it doesn't matter how long it's
Mhm.
been, kind of thing. Well, I guess I got 3 now, but then work groups and like work friends and prior work friends, kind of thing, and now you guys. So
I was waiting for
There
it.
it is.
So-
There
When he
it
said
is.
2, I was like, "Are we one?"
Oh,
yeah,
we-
so it's like now there's 3. Because
Mhm.
I mean, Kiko falls into one of the other ones too, but since
I'm my own.
I didn't work with
Yeah.
you, so this is like a third group,
It's true.
So, I don't know. It's better to have those, in my opinion, to have like the different groups of smaller friends and
Mhm.
be close with them, kind of thing, and not because those are the people that you can count on, kind of thing,
Mhm.
and not just like an acquaintance kind of thing. It's
Mhm.
really what they would be otherwise.
Right.
So
Yeah. And there always is that promise of an acquaintance becoming one of those.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You never can tell.
That's true.
Because like, I mean, we were work friends.
Yeah.
Like we were friends, but we were work friends.
Right. We
like,
just
and
work
then,
friends. Yeah. We just say hi to each other at work. How's your
right.
day
Like,
going?
and I loved working with you, and like that was like good. So when I was at work, you were
Mhm.
one of the people I loved talking to the
Yeah,
most.
so
But
we
it
did
was
talk
still
a lot,
like
yeah.
it was a work friendship. We didn't hang out outside of work.
Mhm.
And then this happened, and now you are somebody that like if you ever needed anything at 3 a.m, you could call me.
Oh, man.
Please don't.
Okay.
But you can.
I got happy there for a second.
But you can't. Like honestly though, you can. Like in both of you. Like
So
if
what
you
you're
ever
saying
need
is I
anything.
should have called you at 3 a.m. for that Apple release.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I did not get to finish the last week's episode, but I heard that there was a lot of unkindness said towards Apple. We're gonna have some words with Mason
We are.
because that's not cool.
You're in trouble, Mason.
Mm-hmm.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
And Trey's in trouble for not finishing the episode.
Yeah, I felt really bad about that. To be fair, I was
You did work a lot last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all good.
still.
So
Still-
so
still
back to the
working on it.
friendship. I think like what we all like kind of like said, like just sharing our thoughts. Like I think that's like a really cool thing. Like having those close friends who always have your back no matter what, and then having those friends you can reach out to because you never know it could grow into something more than just like a person from someone else or a mutual friend, and they could become best friends with you. So I think it's always important to treat everyone with respect and still care about those people no matter what. And like I think that's how friendship can grow, and you can make more friends that way. So
Absolutely.
Didn't Sean and Rebecca kind of meet that way? From like mutual friends
They
or
did.
something?
They did, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did actually.
And like Sean stalked her on Facebook or something.
Yeah, he did. He just talked her on Facebook, and then he asked her out, and now they're married.
Yeah.
Well, they've been married now for like
So there you
6
go,
years
there's a
now.
good
Well, that's
example.
the ending to a Facebook stalking story you don't expect.
and
And now they're married. Oh, okay.
So
they have a kid, too.
encourage it.
Yeah.
so,
Facebook stalk people. We should probably don't do that actually.
Yeah, don't
Just
don't do that, yeah.
redact that joke.
They did meet in person before.
Okay, that's good.
so,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in Who Among Us, it's a very harsh term, but Who Among Us doesn't Facebook stalk? Like that's
Well,
part of it.
I've never.
Like, so yeah, I think it's a cool thing. one of the things too was like you mentioned was having the separate kind of groupings. I think that's a cool point. Is yeah, you know, and like one of the weirdest things I think is combining those worlds. It's very weird. If it's a very rare occurrence, but when you do, it's very strange. Like, thankfully, no longer in the dating world, but that was one of them too. Was like it's kind of a small glimpse of that. Is like when you're dating somebody for a while and you get that rapport going, and then you introduce them to your friends. Yeah. It's a very strange. I hate that.
Yeah.
And so like, because it's probably gonna go well because chances are you get along with your friends, you get along with her, she's probably gonna get along with friends. Like that's just probably how it's gonna go. But it's nerve wracking. It's a scary thing. That's a glimpse into it. And I've had it once, I think, where two different friend groups did kind of merge for a night, and I was like, don't like this at all.
And it didn't work out.
Not a fan. Well, it didn't go poorly or anything. It did not work out. It was just I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I like to keep my kind of groups where they belong.
Hang out with those group, hang out with that group, yeah.
And ideally, it'd be great to have them all together, but it's also like, you know,
those different
I don't know how I feel about it actually. It's just like a scary thing because ideally, you know, you do want to introduce your girlfriend to your friends, so there is that wanting to bring them all together. So I guess I would like to do that, but it is just scary. I don't like it at all. Have you ever had that like introduction?
Yeah, man, I've had a couple parties where I invite both groups, and
it's just strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's so in some ways, it's more confusing than that too, because one of my high school friends did work with me for a little while too. So he does know a few of the work friends.
So you have kind of a Venn diagram of groups, like where you got a couple guys in here in the middle, and they're kind of connected to both.
Yeah. So yeah, he can relate to some of the work friends.
Kind of like with Kiko. So like we're our own separate group, but then he also has connections to that one group you have. Okay.
They all kind of mesh together, I guess, in a way. So it's interesting, but even still with that, like you still in a party that you tend to go their own ways. You know they'll each have their own kind of group still. So.
Right. Yeah, I also find, and I don't do this thankfully that I know of, but I find that a lot of people have trouble with that intermingling of the groups because they are social chameleons. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it's like somebody who basically changes who they are depending on who they're hanging out with. They are exhausting human beings.
Yeah, they are.
So, but it's those people especially are very, very reluctant to merge those groups because they don't really know how to act. Because, you know, if they act a certain way,
they're trying to fit in. Like they change themselves instead of just being themselves. They want to be like this person and that person. Just, you know, like a chameleon to blend in. It's just just be yourself. Don't act like someone else. Like
well, it's they don't even. I don't know. It's an interesting concept, honestly. It's one I think we could probably do a full episode on. Really,
we could,
like, especially in the South, it's very, very. It's a big thing down there because you'll have an entire friend group that's your like Christian friend group, you know, and then you might have your other ones that like that might not go to church, and so if you're one of these people, and like I think everybody kind of does this to a degree, and I think within that kind of comfort room is normal. But then there are the people who drastically just completely change everything about them depending on who they're hanging out with. Those are the people I mean. Because I do mean, like, everybody kind of changes a little thing, and a lot of that's subconscious. Yeah. Like, whenever I'm around my granddad, he's a good old boy, like, Southern guy. Like, he's love him to death. He was a cowboy, I swear. And every time I'm around him, like, my speech gets very clipped, like, short, and my Southern comes out. So, like if he says anything, I'm just like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. All right. Like, it gets very, like, I get very short, like, and because that's what you do. You don't talk too much, you know? Yeah. And then it's very Southern, too. And I don't mean to. I didn't notice I was doing that until I had a good friend come with me to see him. And I was doing it, and she was like, what did you just do?
You act a little different.
Right, and I didn't even realize it. So I think to some degree people do that subconsciously. But that's just going to be kind of like, my mom does that with accent mirroring, where I can always tell, like when I was younger, I could tell who she was on the phone with, depending on her accent. Because she would just accidentally kind of copy it. So I feel like everybody kind of does that to a degree. But there are the people who do consciously change everything about them. So and they'll have different opinions in these different groups too. That's the big one too. They'll genuinely change everything because they want to fit into every single group.
Just stay true who you are. That's what you should know.
Right, and it's a young thing.
It is.
I have noticed it is a quality that I have seen deteriorate as they grow. but especially in that younger group, between like, in the teens, really,
Yeah.
it's rampant, and college years as well, because that's really when you're kind of combining a lot of
I
different
think
worlds.
a lot of kids do it because they wanna be liked by everyone.
Right.
At the end of the
And
day,
I have that
not
problem.
everyone has to like you. If they don't like you for who you are, then you shouldn't change yourself just
Right.
to have someone like you.
I have that problem, but I don't change. I just beat my personality into the ground in front of them. Just like every time I see them, I'm just like more like, I'm just like, hey, I try harder, which is dumb. And I should just get over that. But like, that's been my thing my whole life. I've always wanted everybody to like me. But yeah, I don't change it. I just become more aggressively annoying.
Don't do that, Trey.
I know.
I love you for who you are.
Thanks,
Trey.
buddy.
My pleasure.
But there's one person at work I feel like who doesn't like me, and every time I see her, I'm like, "Hi, how are you? Good morning," which is great,
That's
and I'm
funny.
sure that's working. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. I think, social chameleons are also interesting in their own right. I think it's not a good thing to do. I think also that a lot of them don't really think that it's a good thing to do. They're not really thrilled with the fact that they have to change everything. And as I said, it is something they grow out of. But
I agree. Over time, people only learn and improve. So yeah, I like it.
let's talk about best friends.
Best friends.
Best friends. Sure, some of the best friends you've ever had. Like throughout life, maybe not even that you speak to anymore, because that's the thing that happens. Sometimes you.
I don't believe in best friends.
Oh, come on. This guy. Elaborate.
All my friends are equal.
Oh, okay. Don't give him. Don't encourage
I'm,
that.
I'm just like
It's a
like
cop
that's
out.
his thought.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we respect your opinion.
Uh,
Okay, what about you, Kiko?
Best friends.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
You can go back far. Like, who's your first best friend?
I think like back in the day, I grew up with these like one kid lived next door to me, then my other friend lived down the street, and like we'd always get together like every summer, and we'd play like basketball, we'd go fishing, ride our bikes, rollerblade. Like those were like my best friends growing up, I guess.
Was this in California?
No, it was in California.
Are you admitting that you weren't raised in California?
I never admit that I was raised in
Oh.
California. I was born in California, but I was raised in New England my whole life. So yeah.
You guys saw the episode. It's heavily implying. It's like, I know everything about California.
California love.
That's cool though. Like and also we grew up around that age group where we could just go do those
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Like I did something similar. I was in Troy, Alabama, and my buddies and I would get on our bikes and go.
Yeah.
And like genuinely, like my mom would kind of give me like a rough jurisdiction.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "You can't go past this store," but it was like a mile and a half away.
Yeah.
And then like, I was like 8, 9.
Yeah.
We're on our bikes and we're just going. We're out in the middle of nowhere, like in the city, like, and like that is a thing you don't see very often
No,
anymore.
those
with
were
the
like
culture.
those were like the great days, the best days. Like,
Right, because it wasn't that
there
fear.
was no technology. Like there was no fear. Like you would just ride your bike.
Which is
Like,
funny because you would think with technology there would be less fear because we can contact each other immediately. But
Exactly.
I didn't have a phone. I had
No,
no
I-
way to
I had
contact
no
my mom.
phone,
I didn't
yeah.
have a walkie-talkie,
No,
and I was just gone.
just go
So
enjoy life.
it's so weird.
Time
Because
has
nowadays,
changed.
like even I am like when I tell that story, there's a part of me that's going like, "Ooh, that's bad."
Scary.
But it's
man.
like, what? No, but no,
Yeah,
everybody did it,
everything's- Yeah, everything was different.
and I
back
missed
then.
that. Like I loved it, and
Yeah,
it
it
was me and my good lord, we had 4 of us, and 2 younger brothers with 2 of the families, and they would tag along sometimes. And it was a blast. We would just explore the town on our bikes, like, and really kind of push the limits of where we were allowed to go, and hung out in the woods. Got hurt a couple times, several times.
Built some forts.
No forts,
No
actually.
forts.
We weren't very constructive. We're kind of destructive. But like, I would say those were probably my first best friends.
But yeah,
I miss those days for sure.
yeah. Tyler doesn't know about those days. He's
No,
the
because
one-
all his friends are equal.
yeah, he's all equal. Oh boy! All right. Well, on that note,
Talking about first best friends.
Yeah, talk about first
that's
friends.
easier.
Mm.
Oh, now he
This
wants-
is before he got his equal.
Nah, yeah.
Well, it's before I really started talking to more people, I guess,
I have a question.
What's up?
Since this first best friend, it was your best friend, correct?
This was one of my first good friends.
Best friend.
Close friend.
Best friend.
You
Would
know?
you say that they're better than every friend you've had next? Since everybody else has been equal, is this
No.
person better?
No, they're not any better. I mean, he was just, one of my first better friends. That's all,
we're reading between the lines.
Yeah. Well,
Continue.
oh.
Anyways, no, Andrew.
Oh,
Andrew. Me and Andrew have been friends for a long time. So
Andrew, good old Andrew.
you know, like back middle school days.
Mm.
So he's in the high school friends group there too. But
Andrew's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's a
played
good
a
boy.
lot of video games together, a lot of late nights.
Oh yeah.
He's a vegetarian though.
Does it?
So.
He's a vegetarian. He's a terrible person.
What? Yeah, what the hell is that? It's a weird thing to say.
So,
He's a vegetarian
because we
now.
took a road trip with him a few
Don't
years.
tell the story.
Man, this was back in 2012. I drove all these young kids to Six Flags.
God, you're old.
I rented an expedition, and we were like, Chick-fil-A was like paying for us. They paid for us to go, and then we had this big buffet with all kinds of stuff, and Andrew's like, I don't just a plate of fries. I'm like, Andrew, you just want fries? And he's like, I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. I was like, oh, okay. So it's kind of like my first, I always just when I see
Why is that a
Andrew,
bad story?
I don't know. Just,
You set this up like it was going to be a terrible, wait till you hear what Andrew did. This guy. Wait till you hear.
No, Andrew's a good guy. I
He
love
goes
Andrew.
and he just gets
Oh,
fries.
I was
And
like,
I say,
yo.
why? And he
I was
goes,
like,
because I don't eat meat.
I don't eat meat. I was like, oh, God. Okay, all right, you want to pick on me? I'm just saying.
I'm going to pick on you.
Listen,
I tried to be a vegetarian.
Andrew and I have a good relationship now. He'll say hi to me. I'm like, yo, what up, Andrew? I was like, how's that hamburger? And he'll look at me. I love Andrew though. He knows that.
Why is it? I don't see anything wrong with being a vegetarian.
Nothing.
I tried once to be one, and
How did
my
that
mom
work out?
laughed in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Not because she doesn't respect vegetarians, but because she doesn't respect my ability to eat only leaves. So I was like, no, Mom, seriously, I'm going to do this. I think by the second day, I ate a chicken sandwich or something
Mm-hmm.
because I'm weak.
No, because chicken's delicious.
That's true. But I don't have the
ability, the strength. Yeah.
not the strength, but like the palate even. Because my my diet consists of pretty much mostly meat. Like the healthiest thing I eat, which is very healthy, it is a superfood, is broccoli. I could live on broccoli, to be fair, but it is hard to live on broccoli because it's not everywhere. You can't just go to the corner store and get some broccoli. You're gonna.
Oh, God.
So,
Oh,
although
man.
when you go to the corner store, you don't really get meat either.
No, you don't. You usually get
There's not much to
some
this story.
juice or
It's a
something.
terrible story.
Yeah, it really was. It was off
Here's the
topic
thing-
too.
Here's the thing, Andrew.
Andrew, we love you though. I love you though. Andrew.
I don't know you, Andrew,
Okay.
but I don't think there's anything wrong with you being vegetarian. It's
no,
weird
there's nothing wrong.
that that's a bad story for him.
Whatever. I don't care. Whatever. I love Andrew though. He knows that. So that matters to me.
Except he's a vegetarian.
It's okay if you.
He was waiting for that. Yeah,
That's what
that
makes him
addition.
happy. That's fine.
He's great. He's awesome.
I just love hamburgers, cheeseburgers.
You can love him for him. You
And I
get
do.
double if you hang
I
out with
do.
Andrew. You get two hamburgers.
I know, and I usually do. Like Andrew, this is for you.
See, it's a good thing.
See, it is. See,
Don't be messing with people's lifestyles.
I love Andrew.
You know who sucks though? Vegans.
That's not very nice to say.
So, yeah, I guess we
Alright.
should probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because we got off a little bit.
It's okay.
This is fun. This is a good talk. We are topically very good friends.
We are.
That's why we had the idea for this. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope that you watched this after school, and it was special.
Yeah,
Do you get my joke?
we're special. That's why.
After school special.
After school special.
I could tell you didn't get it.
I did.
There you go. So we're gonna wrap it up. My song of the week is gonna be this is actually from last year. It is called "Blowback" by I cannot pronounce his name. Galimatias. Galimatias.
Interesting.
Galimatias or Galimatias.
You find some very
Mateus.
interesting music, Trey. By the way.
Galimatias. What did you say?
Oh, sorry.
Galimatias?
Yeah, that's what I go.
Yeah.
Matthias. I don't know.
Matthias.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. My
Really,
pleasure.
the only genre I don't like is
Country.
Yeah, there are a couple country songs I'm okay with. I can find the good in country. I don't like screamo, like anything like. Or my cousin's gonna get mad if he hears that. It's not screamo. It's called it's
Heavy metal.
metal.
Yeah, heavy metal.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
It's
post
it's
post post all. Some I don't know. They have so many different.
Welcome to the. That's what That's what.
Yeah,
it's-
when you can't even understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, but I understood everything he just said. though.
I didn't really say anything. I just like.
He said, "Welcome to the."
Well, it's 'cause
so
he wasn't that good at it.
Sorry, I'm sick, so that's why.
oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I also don't really like anything too angsty. If it's like too like I used to when I was younger and I was like kind of an emo kid or whatever, I would listen to this band called Hawthorne Heights.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
bad. It's bad
man.
stuff. It's just a lot of like
Oh.
feelings, and it's just I don't like it. It's bad. I don't like it. It's not good.
Yeah.
So those are really the two genres I'm not a fan of, honestly. And everything else I can find the good in.
Mhm.
So I also don't love classic rock because I feel like it's a limited category because nothing can ever be classic rock again, ever.
It's true.
Because from now, like after classic rock, which is very 70s kind of, they started naming them after the decades. So now there's 90s rock. So it's never going to be classic rock. It's always going to be 90s rock. So classic rock is very limited. There's a very fine, small category of classic rock, and that pool dries up quick. So if you ever listen to a classic rock station, you know the top 40s when you listen to that station, and they're repeating the same songs like every hour. It's like a very short playlist. The thing about top 40s though is it's going to change.
It will.
Classic rock is doing the same thing, and none of that's changing because nothing's ever going to get added to that pool.
No, it's not.
And that's why I don't love classic rock. I feel like it's very limited in scope.
It is.
So that's it. So essentially, that being said, expect at least one from every one of those genres at some point during the show.
Yeah.
So Blowback by Galimatias. Is that what you said? Galimatias.
I think. What did I say?
We have it in the description.
Galimatias.
Like,
Blowback
That's
by
what I said.
Blowback by Blah
yeah, just go
is
check it
is a
out.
good one. Go check it out. It's good stuff. It's very chill and also got some good beats.
I like them beats.
And so I'm going on a trip actually in a week. So we're gonna meet up on Sunday and record 2 episodes. See if you can spot the similarities.
Yeah,
We're gonna try and change clothes again, probably,
sure we are.
or we'll just give up.
You
'Cause
never
at this
know.
point. But we'll record 2 episodes and we'll have fun with that. But I will see you guys on Sunday, and then I'll see you guys 2 weeks later. 1 week later? I don't even know.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
sorry about this.
Yeah.
As always, I'm one of your hosts, Trey.
It's the other one. Kegel Fresh.
It's the other one. We got England on the knobs. Terry behind us, as always. And we will see you next week.
We out.
We're waiting on it. And there it is. Did you do it last week?
Yeah, I did.
Proud of you.